this.
Life. Life.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Elmari Ricther. I'm a junior associate at Velden-Duffey Incorporated. I had the privilege to serve my articles at Velden-Duffey, and during 2019, I was admitted as an attorney. Today, with me here is Rego Marakalla. Rego?
Hi everyone that is out there. Wow, COVID-19 has really introduced us and placed us in unprecedented moments and time. Yes, as Elmari had said, we're working here currently at Velden-Duffey Attorneys. I hope all of you out there can hear me with wearing my mask and I'm audible enough. But I'm presently a candidate attorney at Velden-Duffey Attorneys. And I've been working here for quite some time and I'm enjoying it to my ultimate best. So on today's career fair, we're going to be telling you some interesting things that you can expect to be experiencing in your first day at work as a candidate attorney, give you some tips and advices, and also insist on you guys giving us comments and questions that you can put up out there. And we'll be glad to give you our experiences. You can even ask us personal questions. We'll be very honest with you.
As honest as possible.
Yes, Elmari. Always confuse you with that. But not a problem. Where do you think we should start? You guys, again, as I said, I'm encouraging all of you that's watching this out there to please, we want to give you this opportunity to ask us any questions. But basically, we're going to be starting with a brief introduction as to, you know, the normal stuff that you would expect as your first day at the office. And if you have anything else that is interesting that you would like to find out, I mean, for those who are fortunate enough that have already been graduated, or for those who are going to be expecting to start articles sometime very soon or early next year, this is exactly a live video that you should actually be watching. And we do encourage everyone from first year to final year, postgraduate. It doesn't matter. We encourage everyone to ask us questions. We are here for you, and we promise that we'll try to answer your questions to the best of our abilities.
Yes. I would like to start off by first of all encouraging all law students, like Rego said, to actually serve your articles at an attorney's firm and to register your articles at the Legal Practice Council. The reason why I believe it's a good idea to actually do your articles and register it with the Legal Practice Council is because you get the opportunity to see the practical side of our law and our legal system. You learn how to apply the theory that you have been studying for the past 4 to 5 years, and you basically get to see the bigger picture of our law and our legal system. And that's why I always encourage people to actually try to register for their articles, to work with an attorney, and to learn as much as possible. I think Rego will agree with me if I say that during your 2-year article period, that's the time when people expect you to make mistakes, people expect you to learn, and that's why I also encourage everyone to ask as many questions as possible during the articles. But yeah, what to expect on your first day? Perhaps we can start there. Well,
Elmari, sorry to interject. You did mention something about when you start your articles, you have to serve for 2 years.
yes.
For those people who are out there, for students who are out there, undergraduate or postgraduate, that don't know the difference between serving articles and doing pupillage for 1 year to become an advocate, is there a difference between the two?
Yes, most definitely there's a difference. First of all, you can register your articles. You will then work with an attorney firm, with a principal, who will, during a 2-year period, assist you in learning as much as possible, gaining as much experience as possible in being an attorney and a legal practitioner. When you serve your pupilship, that you work with an advocate. It's only for a period of 1 year, if I'm correct, and you basically focus more on court work, and you are not a general practitioner such as an attorney, but you specialize in litigation and appearing in court. I don't know, Rego, if you would like to add and explain it a bit better, but basically it's the difference in being an attorney or being an advocate. And then with the new Legal Practice Council, we also have some hybrid advocates, if I may say so, in which they are also entitled to consult with clients and take in clients from door. That's if they have a Fidelity Fund certificate and obviously have a trust account as well. So we have attorneys, we have our hybrid advocates, and we have our advocates, and you can basically make an election and choose in what direction you would like to go. I can always advise, if you enjoy court work and you don't want to work with clients, go try to do your pupilship. But if you enjoy working with people, if you enjoy solving problems hands-on, doing your articles is also advisable. You can always also do your articles, and afterwards, once you've gained more experience, then you can try and apply for your pupilship and work with an advocate to gain experience in that field as well.
Yes, thank you so much, Elmari. I think you captured it quite correctly and succinctly and clearly. For those who want some clarification again on anything that Elmari has said, the comment section is up there. Please, we're begging you to ask us any questions or clarifications that you seek from whatever one of us say, that we want to have a time to actually address all those issues during this live.
Yes.
But Elmari, can I ask you a personal question?
Of course.
Do you still have memories, your first memory after applying for articles on your first week or first day? What is it that you experienced? Is it what you thought, or was it totally something out of this world?
Well, first of all, I was so stressed and overwhelmed.
Yes.
You like shaking all the way when you enter the door. Every person, all the colleagues you meet, it was quite a stressful experience. But something that I remember most is that during the first few weeks, I actually want to say perhaps first few months of my articles, it literally felt like I didn't know anything. Like I was sitting at
Yeah.
my desk reading case law, whatever, and then I thought by myself, what did I do for the past 4 years studying
Exactly.
LLB, and I don't even know what to do.
Exactly.
I don't know how to execute or how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
But I think it's normal.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said earlier as well, that's why we are here. That's why you work with an attorney and a principal, so you can learn as much as possible. What I also think that our firm do great is that we have an open door policy, which
Yeah.
makes it easier to go and ask questions. If you want to ask a director a question, if you want to ask a fellow candidate attorney a question, you're more than welcome to do so. And I think
Yeah.
that helped me a lot, especially during the first few days as a candidate attorney, because I didn't even know where's the bathroom. So even personal questions I had to ask my colleagues.
Yeah.
I don't know, what's your memory of your first day, Rego?
Most definitely. Elmari touched on a specific subject, talking about Van Velden-Duffey and what is it like, her first experience at Van Velden-Duffey. We just want to tell you guys that between, is it 11 and 12 or 12 to 1? You guys gonna also have an opportunity to listen to Giannis Olivier, who's also an attorney and just got admitted as a notary. They will also be giving a presentation between those particular hours. Stay sure to tune in, and he'll be joined. Giannis will also be joined. Apologies for that. Giannis will also be joined by Palesa. They'll be basically be talking about Van Velden-Duffey. What is it like to work at Van Velden-Duffey, and give you a sort of like an inside depth into Van Velden-Duffey and all other information that you'll actually want to engage on if we didn't have a website. But all that information is also in our website. I'll encourage for some of you after our discussion here to go into our website so you can engage them thoroughly, so saying that no, I read this on your website, come on guys, give me this particular information. But anyway, back to your question.
Rego, if I can just interrupt
Yes,
you
yes.
quickly. We have a question from Jonas Krier, and he's asking whether we have positions as advocates available at the firm. Rego, I don't know if you would like to answer that question for Jonas.
Giannis. Actually, I think in 2056, probably. I take that, Giannis. That was a joke. Unfortunately, Giannis, Elmari just gave you a distinction between the advocate's profession and the attorney's profession. So unfortunately, we don't have any positions available for advocates at the firm.
Yes, it's usually different types of firms. The advocates work in chambers, attorneys work at an attorney firm, so we split the positions. We often also like to appoint then advocates to assist us with matters, and basically it's two different entities, if I may call it that, Jonas. Then we have another question. Someone asked us what makes VVD different from other firms. Well, as all attorneys, we always like to talk about ourselves, and I think this is also a perfect opportunity to talk a bit about Van Velden-Duffey. I would like to first of all say that we are the biggest law firm in Northwest. We function as a corporate law firm, even though we are on the platteland, if I may say so. We are a lot of attorneys. I think it's round about 23 to 26 attorneys, if I'm correct, who work very hard to give specialized legal advice to our clients. We have different departments in the firm, which also distinguish us from other firms. We give candidate attorneys then the opportunity to rotate between the different departments to gain as much experience as possible. Then we are very involved in our community and always strive to be even more involved and take part in our clients' day-to-day living as well. And yeah, that's just a little bit of what I can say. Perhaps Rego, you can add something.
I'll just put it up in one sentence, honestly, because there's not a sufficient amount of words, how matter I make it flowery and stuff like that, that can be able to convince you as to what makes Van Velden-Duffey special, what are the objectives, the specialities, and so forth. Obviously, each and every person or law firm can blow their own horns. But me, in just a sentence or a phrase, I'll just say that we adapt no matter the circumstances that we face. And the reason why I use that is that, the COVID-19 pandemic, it was during a lockdown and so forth, and is that our firm was able to adapt to the national lockdown, and our clients never, there was a single client that could not get access to our attorney's firm. Now, that to me just showed me that no matter the circumstances, whatever the prevailing circumstances that will arise, even such as the declaration of a national disaster and the COVID-19, was that Van Velden-Duffey attorneys was still able to provide the best service that is out there. And not a single client has complained to me or anyone that I'm aware of. And we were able to adapt to that. So I think that is the best phrase and principle that Van Velden-Duffey has.
I think I can also add to the structure we have here at the firm and the supporting structure. We really have an open door policy, like I said previously. We try to support each other and the community as much as possible, and which also makes this a very nice and a comfortable working environment. I see we have another question, actually two questions, which I think we can answer as far as possible. We have a question from Adele, who says, how long will I have to do articles for? I think it's important that, like I mentioned before, you serve articles for a period of 2 years. During that 2-year period, there's certain milestones that you also have to reach. For example, you have to pass the board exams. There's a PLT course, or I think it's 2 courses if I'm correct, that you also have to attend, and then obviously serve a 2-year period at a firm with the guidance of a principal. I hope that answers your question, Adele. Then we have another question, how do I apply for my articles at the firm? Well, I think the easiest way to apply for the articles is to go to our website, www.vvd.co.za. There's a tab which says careers. When you click on the career tab, the first option is apply for articles. And I think that's quite easy and well accessible. Another question, I like all the questions we are receiving, it makes our job easier today, is what is it like to work at your firm? Well, I think it's very difficult to answer, but I enjoy it a lot. It's hard work, you have to have perseverance and determination, but you learn a lot, you have a supporting structure. It's time well spent, seeing that we spend a lot of our time at work. We really enjoy it. We learn a lot. We pick each other's brain quite often. I think that's also important, so we learn from one another as well. Rego, I don't know if you would like to add something.
Look, the enjoyment of work, it differs from each and every individual, and that is exactly what you're going to find out during your 2 years of articles, because I'll advise any student, postgraduate or undergraduate students that's applying for articles. That is a period and time for you to actually discover which area of the law do you enjoy working at. And what made me enjoy my type of work is that during my articles, I actually had a first-hand experience because of the nature of the work that I was getting, and I immediately loved that. I love the engagement. There's no amount of words that I can express how I. You know what? Basically, I'm enjoying my work. I'm enjoying my work.
It's difficult to convey how we experience our jobs, but we are here. We have another question from Johannes Krier. He asks us actually under what departments or functions we both work, and if we can just explain a bit the work and the work experience. I think you can start, Rego.
Okay. Well, to give you a summary of a background, normally at Van Velden-Duffey, again, like I said, guys, Johannes and Palesa will be giving a much more broader perspective on Van Velden-Duffey and what is it like as a firm and all those other information. But I'll tap into a couple of issues about Van Velden-Duffey. So when I started at Van Velden-Duffey, you're given, I think, you rotate 4 times in your 2 years of articles. So I was very fortunate. I only rotated, I think, 2 times. It was the road accident fund, the road accident fund department, and also the litigation department. But then the firm, because Van Velden-Duffey, they always pay close attention to the candidate attorneys,
Yes.
and they see your potential. And they really engage you as to say that, but we think that you're performing your ultimate best on this particular area of the law. And you just sit there and you're like, actually, yes, I agree with you. So I've been doing litigation for almost forever, and I don't see myself changing anytime soon. So I specialize in civil litigation from magistrates court to high court, Supreme Court of Appeal, whatever the case might be, and I represent various clients, organs of state, municipalities. I mean, our litigation department is very big, and we have most of the major corporate clients all the way in Rustenburg, Pretoria, Joburg. So listen, the department is very big, and I'm doing basically litigation.
Yes, Johannes, to answer your question, I'm currently a civil litigation and family law attorney at the firm. So during my articles, I also rotated like Rego. I worked in civil litigation departments, gained experience in labor law, and then in the family law department. I also spent a little bit of time at one of Rustenburg's mines where we focused on legal compliance and whether their contracts are up to date and are complying with all the new legal developments. But after I was admitted, the firm also asked me what I would like to do, and I preferred family law. I really enjoyed a lot, so I'm working with children's court matters, I'm doing divorces, maintenance matters, and then recently I started to do a bit more civil litigation with one of our directors as well. It's always nice, like Rego said, when we rotate, you gain a lot of experience, and you also get to know yourself and what you would like to do in future. Because some people prefer to be a general practitioner. Here at Van Velden-Duffey, we have many different departments, and that also assists us in specializing a bit, so we have experts in all different types of fields in law.
And I also see, sorry, Johannes, I forgot to touch on this issue. I see now it's like in quotation, functions. There are several functions that I think they are similar that we all do, especially as candidate attorneys and associates and so forth. That includes, drafting of pleadings. You have an opportunity to draft, let's say, for instance, summons you give to your immediate supervisor or director or a junior associate that has much more experience than you. You give them that particular pleading. You draft notices. You index, paginate court files. Ensure that the court file, when the matter is proceeding at trial, you make sure that the court file and your immediate supervisor or junior associate, the court file is in order. You attend to emails, you photocopy, make copies. Basically, you do all the functions that will be necessary to ensure the smooth running of a department and your client's file and your boss's file.
Something else you also learn and gain a lot of experience in during your articles is not only the legal aspects, but you learn management as well. Management of files, matters, the supporting staff you work with. So not only do you have to work on your own and make sure the files are running, you have to manage your staff as well, which is very good experience you gain. We have quite a few questions coming in now. Another question is, what subjects would you say is crucial to take and excel at in university? Well, first of all, if I think of my articles and how much time I spend at court and things like that, I would definitely say the court procedure, magistrate's court procedure and high court procedure is very important to excel at. I think it's important to pay a lot of attention during those classes and to not skip class. Subjects to take, I don't know if you have some advice?
Just to add on a couple of subjects. I knew, then again, I want to make this live chat as personal as possible to show you guys that we are also not robots, we are not also perfect. I did skip a couple of classes, I'm guilty of that. But a couple of modules that you're supposed to take important, critical attention to, particularly if you want to serve your articles. I'll say procedure. And Elmari did put emphasis on that. That is your criminal procedure, That is your civil procedure. I think they call it, is it civil procedure?
Yeah, sure.
Civil procedure,
Yeah.
yeah. Civil procedure, your law of evidence, and
Yes,
all
very
other
important.
procedural, not so substantive modules, but actually modules that make you understand where does the matter arise from and the steps that has to be taken to reach to court until a judgment is being given. So basically, that is your procedure courses that you're supposed to take careful attention to. With regards to other substantive modules, such as your the principles of criminal law and so forth, they're not. I'm not saying they're not important, because when you're practicing as a candidate attorney, you'll have access to libraries and information, so you can always make use of that to refresh your mind, particularly
Yes.
if you have a case whereby you just cannot recall what you had learned at university. So you have access to those facilities. And VVD, we do have major resources,
Yeah.
and we do have internet access to all the major platforms that will assist you to actually get your matters up to order.
Yes, I hope we answered your
Yeah.
question. Another question we have is, what do you look for in a candidate attorney? Is academic achievement the most important?
Do you want to go first? Because I was a bad student.
Yes,
I'm kidding.
I don't mind answering. Well, obviously academic achievement is something that we look at. But that's not the only thing Van Velden-Duffey focus on when we look at a CV and when we appoint a candidate
Yeah.
attorney. We want to see that you are well balanced. We want to see that you were involved in the phase of your living, if I may say. So if you're on university, we want to see that you actually lived and that you are well balanced. If you perhaps took part in your residence committees, or if you were on the structures of your university, it always adds to your CV. But what I always say is we want to see that you can do more than only one thing at a time. It's difficult to say we only look at academic achievements, because some people, they only study and that's the only thing they do. But here at the firm, you have to be able to focus on different things at the same time. And that's why it's important that we would like to see that you are well balanced. And
Yeah.
then I always say ambition is very important. We want to see someone's ambitious. We want to see someone is going to be willing to learn, willing to adapt to new circumstances. And I think give as much information as possible on your CV. Try to tell us who you are, because we all see in all the CVs basically look the same. We see the academic results, we see achievements, but try to tell us a little bit about yourself so that we can determine whether you will fit in and be a perfect fit at Van Velden-Duffey. I don't know if you would like to add something.
Yeah. Basically, just to summarize what Elmari said, I just want you guys to give me an opportunity to call the HR personnel to ask them what they look for in a candidate attorney, because I'm not sure. I was also surprised when I was taken by the firm. I'm kidding. But basically, to go back to the question, I think what Van Velden-Duffey needs from a candidate attorney is an all-rounder.
Yes.
Because we understand that you are more than your academic qualifications. You might have not performed as your top of your class, but you are looking for an individual that's basically an all-rounder. They can be able to basically juggle a variety of things besides only focusing on academics, because your personal lives also matter. And you want to be in an environment whereby you can be able to simultaneously partake in various tasks that candidate attorneys are expected to partake in. So essentially, we're looking for an all-rounder
Yes.
individual.
Definitely agree. We have another question. What personality traits do you think is needed to be successful at your firm and in the profession? Very good question.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very good
Yeah.
question. Well, first of all, I always think that integrity is the most important trait that you do need
Yes.
in being an attorney.
Yes.
As you also have to be confident, but stay humble, but be confident and believe in yourself. That's also very important.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that you have to be an extrovert to be an attorney, and I disagree with them. Any personality type is welcome, and a lot of personality types, different
Yeah.
personality types, excel in our career.
Yeah.
I don't think, well, I don't know if you would like to add.
I mean, there are
Uh,
also such things such as honesty. I
Yes,
think
of
that's
course.
also the most important personality trait that any individual, actually all human beings, should have, because it all depends on your reputation, especially if you go to court, because that is what a court of law will expect from you, and that is what
Yeah.
your fellow colleagues will expect from you. Honesty is the most important element that any lawyer should have, and other traits such as diligence, diligence and humility. Humility is also an important key factor that I think any candidate attorney that's looking into approaching a particular firm to serve their articles, they'll also be looking into that, and also other personality traits that Elmari touched on.
Yes. We have another question and a very interesting one. A person asks us, what advice do you have for young Rego and young Elmari entering their articles now?
Don't do it.
No, Rego, that's not why we are here.
I'm kidding.
Well, it's something that you have to think about a bit before just being able to answer. But I think I would just say, just give yourself a break. Like, you will not be able to do everything. Just breathe and just be patient and work hard. I did do it while I was a candidate attorney, but there was days when I was so hard on myself and I forgot that I was actually still learning. And sometimes you feel a bit shy, you feel you're going to ask some stupid questions. But yeah, just what advice I would give: be yourself, give yourself a break, and ask as many questions as possible to gain as much experience during your 2-year period.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll pretend as if the young Reho is here. I'll just say to him that, dude, you're gonna be cool. You're gonna be cool. You're gonna be an awesome lawyer, dude. Just relax, okay?
Yeah.
Take it one step at a time. Relax.
Definitely.
Like
Yeah.
everything is gonna be a-okay. That is exactly what I'll say to myself.
Yes. There's definitely days where you feel like
Yeah.
the whole world's coming down on you, and you don't
Yeah.
know how you're going to
Yeah.
survive another day.
Yeah.
But it's all worth it.
Yeah.
Like I always say, serving your articles, completing your articles, and then being admitted as an attorney, that's the cherry on top.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's worth working hard for. Then quite a few questions
Wow.
coming in. Another question from Angelique. Is it possible to specialize in a specific field of law at your firm? You may
Yeah.
answer?
There is. Thank you for that, Elmari. Yeah, you can specialize, but for obviously, as again, I'm going to repeat what I had said. During the course of your articles, you actually have an opportunity to visit all the departments that you have experience to property law department, conveyancing, where they do property transactions, deceased estates, wills, drafting of contracts, antenuptial contracts. You have an opportunity to meet the family laws department that does with basically everything that it has to do with family law and a little bit of some civil litigation. There's a criminal law department. There's a labor law department that deals with all labor related matters. There's civil litigation, which is almost like each and every issue that you can find. That's there's collections, there's just a huge variety of departments that are available for you to engage on that. And after your articles and as and when you are practicing, you'll actually make that determination as to whether you want to specialize in a particular area of the law. Such as, let's say, for instance, you're practicing in the commercial law department or property law department, and you want to specifically focus on tax law or something of that particular nature, then it'll all be up to you. And it's encouraged and Van Velden-Duffey to actually, if you have the willingness and the drive to further your studies, doing postgraduate part-time, to do that if you want to specialize within an area of the law. And that will cater, actually, it will do wonders for you if you want to specialize in that particular area of the law.
Yes, definitely. Angelica, I hope we answered your question. Another question we have is from Alicia. What do you enjoy about being an attorney or a candidate attorney? Also quite a difficult question, and I think all the answers will differ. I think the wrong answer would be to say that you would like to feel important, but I would say I enjoy being an attorney because it's challenging. Every day you come to work and you have knowledge about the law, but you don't know what the matter will be on your desk today. And you have to spend a lot of time gaining experience, learning, reading, and you basically learn something new every day and you challenge yourself. And that's why I enjoy being an attorney.
As for me, it's like riding a bike and all the wheels are on fire because I always have to be on my toes. Like, you never know what happens. You always get these interesting things, such as an urgent application, and you literally, it's an interesting matter, and it basically, the energy, the adrenaline rush, that's what I enjoy about being working here and being a candidate attorney. That's what I enjoy.
Another question is, what are the best and worst parts of being an attorney or a candidate attorney?
Basically, like I said, it's like riding a bike and it's on fire, and that's the worst feeling ever. It's also the best feeling and the worst feeling, I think, for me.
I think so too, and you have to think on your feet. Sometimes that's the best and the worst thing at the same time. It's quite stressful, but when you manage to do it and adrenaline kicks in, I think that's definitely one of the best feelings you'll have. And when you succeed with it as well. And so I think the best and the worst things of being an attorney is sometimes the same thing, which is difficult. Then another question, how does your firm train new candidate attorneys? I think it's like Rego said earlier, is that we first of all try to rotate between different departments and gain as much experience as possible. And what our firm also do, and I think that is a great initiative from some of our directors, is to spend a lot of time with the candidate attorneys in training them. We, for example, start off with IT training for all our candidate attorneys. We all think we know how to work a computer, but we get to learn a lot, and it also makes the time, you're more time efficient and you work quicker and easy. So we spend a lot of time on doing IT training. Then we also have, every week we have training with all the professional staff, which is the attorneys, directors and candidate attorneys, in which we discuss new legal developments, new case law, and that's also a great opportunity for everyone to learn, not only for the candidate attorneys. We also have a mentorship program where a candidate attorney can choose a director to be their mentor. That's different from a principal, but the mentor is basically someone where you can go sit with, you can discuss matters with them, you can pick their brain, and that mentor also likes to spend time with the candidate in order to give them a little bit of personal experience as well, and not only legal experience, They train them a bit on management, how to manage your secretaries, your staff, your files, most importantly, how to manage your time. And that's something that you learn from your directors. And I think that's something that VVD do very well, is the directors especially, try to spend time with the candidate attorneys to train them and to make sure that they gain as much experience as possible.
I couldn't have said it better. I think I agree with Elmari.
Yes, and then, like I said previously, the open door policy also assists candidate attorneys a lot, because you can ask anyone any question and we are always more than willing to assist. Another question is, what books or journals would you recommend is the most important that I should read? Well, the first thing that pops to my mind is the Rebus. It's a legal magazine. It's easy articles to read. It's not very difficult. So when you are young, starting with your law degree, it's very easy to read. It's understandable. You already stay on top of new case law, new developments. So I would suggest the Rebus because it's an easy magazine to read and very hip and happening. And I don't know if you would like to add a few things.
As for books, there won't be per se legal books for undergraduates or postgraduates that are looking into starting their articles. But a recommendation would be the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. It's basically a book about a lawyer that sold his Ferrari, gave up everything because of this. I think it gives a nice, interesting view and aspects of how an attorney or a young upcoming lawyer has to deal with certain life circumstances and also his profession. So I think that will be a good read for anyone that is going to start their articles and their legal profession. That will be a good recommendation book.
Yeah, and then the news. Read the
Always be
news,
up to
stay
date,
on top
yeah.
of the news. You also learn a lot
Yeah.
from that, not only political, but you learn the legal
Yeah.
system, and you get to know how that works as well. I think that's a good starting point. Don't worry too much about reading. Once you get to practice, you will read a lot, and definitely your superiors will guide you into the right direction as to what you should read
Yeah.
and what will be to the most benefit.
Yeah.
We have another question from Tanya. She asks, does anything change when you become an attorney? This is a question we often get at career fairs, and I think my answer is no. There's not a lot that change. The work you do as a candidate attorney is basically the same work that you will do as an attorney, especially if you're in your second year of articles. The first year is a bit different, but with your second year of articles, you basically start to work as an attorney, and you do your court appearances, you manage your files, you manage your clients. I think the major thing that changes is the responsibility. You now have the responsibility. It's no longer your principal's responsibility, I think that's one of the major things that changes. I don't know if there's something else that you can add.
I think you mentioned one thing that is very key to the most important change that you will encounter after becoming an attorney, and that is the responsibility. Responsibility is going to be tightened up, and this is for you, whereby the clients now will no longer have to engage your principal or the secretary, but they'll be engaging with you directly, and they'll be needing your advice, and they'll know that this is the person that I can always talk to, not their boss, but this is my lawyer.
Yes, no, I agree. Thank you for the question, Tanya.
Thanks.
Another question is, what opportunities for advancement are as a candidate attorney in your firm? I think this is something that makes VVD great. We have opportunities for growth, and we have career opportunities as well. Well, I started working here as a candidate attorney, and I was privileged to be appointed as an attorney at the firm as well. I'm one of many who done their articles at the firm and then got an appointment. Not only do you get an appointment as an attorney, but there's more growth potential. We have we have junior associates, we have associates, senior associates, and then we have our directors. So there's definitely a ladder that you can climb, if I may say so. There's a lot of opportunities, and it comes with hard work and determination. But Van Velden-Duffey most definitely see your hard work, and they acknowledge it, and they always try to give us as much opportunities as possible.
I agree.
Another question we have here is from Lebogang. How is the rotation policy at your firm, and can a new candidate attorney choose a department to be in, looking at what the candidates might deem to be in an area of interest for them?
Yeah. To touch on that, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't read the policy, but the last time I checked the policy was sometime, I think, 3 years ago. As far as I'm concerned, it will be applicable to each and every department. So there are various departments. So when a firm wants to appoint candidate attorneys, they'll be looking into which departments require the assistance of a candidate attorney. Let's say, for instance, there's a particular candidate attorney that enjoys immediately say that I enjoy doing criminal work, but there's already a candidate attorney that is filled in that particular position. So what they're going to do is that the policy that will be applicable is that you still have an opportunity to go within that particular department, but just because there's already a position that is filled in that, I mean, it's just 6 months, so you will have an opportunity to actually be rotated to that particular department. Yes.
We have another question asking whether we are on social media, and yes, we are. You can follow us on Instagram, and
That's
on
right.
Facebook as well. We are on LinkedIn and we are on Twitter.
Yes,
So
yes.
please go follow us there. We are very active, and we also share a lot of articles. Angelique that asked earlier, we share a lot of articles that you can also read, and we keep you updated with everything in
Yeah.
Rustenburg, the court, the firm. So please go follow us on our social media platforms. Oh, can we continue?
Yeah.
Okay, we also uploaded our social media links in the comment section. Our IT is on it. Thank you very much, Jared, for assisting us. So you can also just click on the link and follow us on our social media platforms. Another question is, what is a typical workday like doing your articles during the COVID-19 pandemic? For example, do you get sufficient experience and training? That's a very good question.
It is.
And I think that's, Rego touched on it a bit earlier, and he said that VVD, we are adaptable, and that's definitely one of the fields in which we adapted during this COVID pandemic. We made sure that everyone, not only the candidate attorneys, but the attorneys as well, stay connected with one another. We still have our training, we still have our normal meetings. It is via a virtual platform. It's actually in the comfort of your own home, so it's not as bad.
Yeah.
It's something we can all
Yes.
get used to, and
Yeah.
most definitely probably the future of the legal system as
Yeah.
well. It is something, it is difficult, and it's an obstacle that the firm had to overcome, but we are trying our very best to train the candidate attorneys. Like I said, we still have meetings, we still have get-togethers, we still see our clients, we continue with our day-to-day work. So you have consultations, it might be via telephone consultations or via Zoom or Microsoft Teams platform. We continue with all the drafting of the legal documents we do, signing of the documents we even attend to. The court appearance also continued. The courts are still up and running. So the days didn't change much since the pandemic was announced. We continue with our normal day-to-day work, but we make a very big, significant effort to make sure that we are all staying connected and working as a team.
So basically, nothing much has really changed because of the technology and the opportunities. And thanks our IT guy Jared, that Van Velden-Duffey, just the systems are in place. So basically, nothing much has really changed.
Then we have another question or comment. Someone says, some firms take part in radio shows. Do you also do it? What exposure will you get to such radio shows? Well, I'm glad someone asked us, because we are on radio shows as well. First of all, one of our previous directors, Igna Kleinsmit, he is on RSG on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And we all assist with the articles and take part in his program on RSG as well. It's called Wat sê die prokureur, or Wat sê die reg, if I'm correct. Then we are also on Waterberg Stereo, which is a radio station in the Tabazimbi area. We have a Van Velden-Duffey legal news program on Waterberg Stereo. It's also a weekly program. It takes on the form of a panel discussion, which is very nice, where we sit and we take the latest topics in the news and we discuss it out of a legal point of view, and we give you our opinion. Sometimes we give our comments and whatever the case may be, but we definitely gain a lot of experience. We also make sure that the candidate attorneys take part in that program as well, so you get a lot of exposure and experience, and it's also great marketing for the firm. Yes. Then what to expect from my first few days as a candidate attorney? Adele would like to know what to expect from your first few days.
First few days, if I can recall, I think I was given a tour. There wasn't really much work, but it was just mild. I remember I was assisted by Kirsty. Yes, I was assisted by Kirsty. She showed me a couple of documents that I had to read, some documents that I had to sign, the contract, and basically sort of like a booklet that tells me everything about Van Velden-Duffey that I should know, the policies, what do they have in place. and then I was introduced to the staff, the ground floor, the second floor, and then throughout the week it was basically just mild. It was they were just allowing me to just take it all in, and my body, my spirit to adapt to the environment. And then after that, I think the second week, that's when I started getting some files.
My answer differs quite a lot from Rego. I started here in a July actually, so it was mid-year. We didn't really have time to ease into everything. I also had a tour of the firm. I met all my colleagues and staff, and then I got to my desk, and the day immediately started. So the attorney I was working for, I was just introduced to, and then worked for, immediately called me. I went to consult with her. We then afterwards discussed the consultation, the file, and what to do next, and she immediately gave it to me and started to give me guidance on what the next step would be on the file. So I think during my first week, I spent a lot of time consulting with clients, with my superior, and I must admit, during a consultation is also where you learn a lot. Just the advice that the attorney is giving the client, you as a candidate attorney learn a lot from that as well. So during my first few days, I got to know my colleagues, and I started working on some of the files with a lot of guidance from my superior. Then another question we have is, as a candidate attorney, how will I know how good or bad I'm doing in the firm? Well, that's something you stress about a lot, because you want to succeed and you want to do a great job. I think that's normal. In our firm, you work closely with the director and with other attorneys as well. And I think that's also a great platform in which we explain to the candidate attorneys, and we have the opportunity to discuss performance. Another thing is we sometimes also have I don't really want to call it an interview, but you have a discussion with some of the directors in which they will talk about your experience at the firm. They will ask you what you are happy with and what you're unhappy with, and then they will also tell you whether there's something that you can improve on. And our firm are not shy on giving compliments. We compliment someone when they do good, because that's when you actually try to do better as well. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. And yes, I think that I hope we get some more questions in for the last few minutes of our session. But I don't know, Rego, is there some advice that you would like to give to prospective candidate attorneys?
Look, one of the most important factors or consideration that you should have is that as soon as you join into a law firm, you'll always have something to learn. There's always you'll never stop learning. Everything that you learn in university, you're going to be exposed to law in a different ball game altogether. I mean, there's a difference between reading about rugby, reading about soccer, and actually getting inside the field and actually playing soccer, kicking the ball and throwing the ball up. And you should be aware of that, and you should be alive to that. And I'll just wish you guys all the best. And you can, as you can see, our website, our links are uploaded there on the comments section. So we encourage the prospective students, undergrad and postgrad, to just send you your CVs for applications for next year. Giannis and Balesa, again, as I said, they will be touching bases with all of you regarding Van Velden-Duffey, essentially what is the firm all about, giving you deeper details into that, and that is about it.
Yeah, some advice that I would also like to give to prospective candidate attorneys is to spend as much time with your fellow candidate attorneys as possible, especially the other candidate attorneys from other firms who practice law in the same town. It's very important to build that network relationship, and I also think it's important to have a good relationship with your learned colleagues, because you rely on them a lot in practice as well. And I see we have another question. Some people say articles are not like in the movies. Are they right? Well, that's correct. your articles is most definitely not what you see in movies. I always say, don't watch Suits and think that this is your day-to-day living. It's very different.
Yeah.
First of all, we all see in movies that it's hard work, and you spend a lot of time at the office and time to work. You work very hard, but it's not a glamorous job. That's the first thing that I would like to say. It's not only high heels and black ties and suits. It's hard work. It's not, you don't just run to court, jump up and state your case. That's also not what happens. You also don't reach a settlement by sitting on someone else's desk and telling them how you are planning to settle the matter. So, no, I think films are most definitely not leading our students into the right direction. They are lying to you, but it's still a very great job to do. You get to solve problems on a daily basis. You get to assist clients, but it's not what you see in the movies.
Most definitely. There's also this movie, Elmari, by, I think it's Tom Cruise. They call it The Firm. It's a 1998 movie. Trust me, your articles won't be like that. Won't be like that. Especially your first day, won't be like that.
No, definitely not. And I also think it's important, as a law student, your articles are somewhat of an obstacle ahead of you. You know that it's something that you sometimes would like to do, but it's something that you stress a lot about. And I would just like to say that it's not an impossible task. It's hard work. You have to have perseverance and determination, but it's not impossible. And like I said earlier, completing your articles and gaining all that experience is something no one will ever be able to take away from you. That knowledge is something you have. And like I said, it's not an impossible task. Good luck with your studies. And yes, stay tuned. Some of our other colleagues will also discuss VVD and how we work. Thank you.
Thanks.
Everything changes.